Welcome to Wellness Rebranded.
We know there is so much conflicting health and fitness advice out there.
And you're tired of the wellness fads, endless diets, and impossible standards that make you feel like nothing you do is ever enough.
You're ready to tune into your mind and body and feel empowered around health.
We're the healing trio here to help you redesign your relationships with food, fitness, and yourself.
I'm Elizabeth, registered dietitian and certified intuitive eating counselor.
I'm Maria, licensed mental health therapist.
And I'm Tara, personal trainer.
Together, we're changing the narrative on health away from diet culture, hustle culture, and toxic positivity and towards healthful self-care.
So grab your water bottle, get ready to laugh, learn, and grow.
And let's start rebranding your wellness journey.
So what does it mean when we talk about food taking too much space in your brain? And today we're going to talk about that. And I myself don't know what that means.
Yeah, I actually love that you asked the question, Maria, when I said I wanted to do an episode about this, because this is what I do all day, every day. I forget that maybe people don't know. What does it actually mean? How do you know if it's taking up too much space, right? What's a quote unquote healthy amount of space and what's not an unhealthy amount of space in your brain? So I think it's one of the number one things that people say when they come to me is like, I'm just so tired of food taking up so much brain space, so much mental energy. And I think it can look like, if you are spending a lot of time counting calories or tracking points or calculating your macros, that's taking up a lot of brain space, right? If you are spending a lot of time doing like food math of like, okay, well, if I'm going to go out to dinner tonight and I'm going to eat this, then that means like I shouldn't eat lunch, or I can only have this for breakfast, or it's like there's a lot of energy. Or say you're going to go out to dinner and instead of just going to the restaurant and looking at the menu and choosing something that sounds and would feel good, you're ahead of time like, oh my gosh, I got to go and look at the menu and see what's safe to eat and then figure out, can I get an appetizer and that, or can I only have that? Or if you feel a lot of guilt about eating, right? You're spending a lot of time feeling guilty or anxious before or after meal times. What did I forget, Tara?
I feel like that covers it. But like the food noise, I think, is loud and takes up a lot of brain space too.
Yeah, having a lot of food noise, just thinking like food is on your mind all the time. It feels like something that you're constantly battling, or maybe you have a certain food in your house and you just constantly thinking about it, or how can I avoid eating it? A great example, 3 things that people have said to me literally just this week. I stopped counting my chocolate chips, right? Before that, feeling like I could only eat them if I counted out a very precise number. And that's just one example, but trust me, that like carried us over into other things. Another one was I have been spending so much time literally entering everything that I'm eating into an app. Another one was I was bringing my food scale with me places so that I could see. I said 3, but now apparently I'm on a roll. I've literally been hungry. So I'm thinking about food all the time, which by the way, makes total sense. Bodies that are hungry think about food. Another one is like, there's all these rules about, well, I'm not allowed to eat this food and grapes have too much sugar. And
is managing or directing your life, is when is food coming or not coming, which by the way, it happens often, not only with food, but for example, with drugs in my field, right? Is that preoccupation with a substance that you're going to either put in your body, not put in your body?
Well, and in this case, often it's a lot of preoccupation because of the messaging we've been taught, like the quote unquote rules and the quote unquote goals and the quote unquote plans. And you're constantly evaluating and assessing how you're doing with
I
things.
think that leads into another part of that is like researching what you quote unquote should be eating or avoiding, or how much. Like,
I was going to say,
the content.
Because you just mentioned that about the grapes, and I had no idea. Like, I've never heard that grapes have a higher...
I'm so glad you haven't heard it, and please eat grapes if you enjoy them.
Okay. And bananas.
And bananas.
But here's the thing. How much of that is the amount of information that is thrown at us on a daily basis that then is like, okay, now I'm going to reduce eating grapes, or I'm going to... Like, sometimes ignorance is a bliss.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, so I guess the first thing that I would want to say is just I'm so glad that you started off asking the question of what it looks like, because I think we live in a culture that normalizes this. Like if you're at some level, if you're not thinking about all these things, or you're not feeling guilty for eating certain foods, or if you're not counting or tracking, those things become normalized.
Yeah.
But that's not...
You're just disciplined if you do it, according to culture.
Yeah. So it's so important to name it, that those are all point to possible disordered eating or preoccupation with food or an eating disorder or an unhealthy relationship with food. So I think being able to sort of say, you know what, it actually ideally isn't like that, right? You can put a healthy level of intention and attention into what you're eating, but when it starts tipping over into more what we've been describing, then it's no longer what I would deem a healthy thing.
Well, and now I can see how some of the response of people that maybe, I'm assuming this, want to work with you or listen to this episode and maybe hear like, what if you just put on your plate what you feel like you want to eat, that if you're not allergic or anything, you know, that food, and you just tune into your body, and once you're full, you stop eating, whatever happens or is on that plate is like, wait, what? No.
Well, and a lot of people are probably having the immediate thought of like, oh, I could never do that, or that would never work for me, or I've never been able to do that. Or how would I know if I'm eating the way I'm supposed to be eating, or
if I'm off track?
Or it makes me think of a friend of mine that she gets afraid or real fear that she might not control herself if she doesn't have these apps or something, that she feels that she's going to eat the whole appetizers in
or
the party.
Like if I just sort of did that, then I would just gain weight forever, right? And then like having a meaning attached to that. So yeah, I mean, lots of people experience this, and I have nothing but compassion and understanding. It comes from the culture that we live in. And I guess that's the very first thing that I would want people to know, is that if you are out there and you struggle with food taking up too much mental space, I see you. It's okay. Your body, it's that you haven't learned to feel safe and trust yourself with food. And there's a lot of noise and a lot of people out there selling the message that you can't, right? Because then they're also selling you this quote unquote solution.
Need a cleaner home without the stress? Our partner Clean is a trusted cleaning service based in Anne Arundel County, serving homes and businesses across the DMV area. They do it all, from routine tidying to deep cleanings, move-in, move-out jobs, Airbnb turnovers, and janitorial services. Their team is experienced, reliable, and focused on giving you back time and peace in your space. And here's the best part. Mention Wellness Rebranded and you'll get $100 off your first cleaning. Visit chrisclean.com, that's KRISSKLEAN.com. Call 410-858-5620 and check the show notes for all the details.
Elizabeth, before you talk about the 4 reasons, can we go back a sec? Because you said all these things we've been talking about are an example of unhealthy relationship with food. But I feel like a lot of people don't know what a healthy amount of food thinking about would be.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that for a sec?
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for asking. I think, well, first of all, is it adding or detracting from your quality of life, right? Many of the things that I just described are probably detracting from your quality of life. Is food a source of enjoyment? Or is it a source of stress or overwhelm or anxiousness? Yes, there's no getting around the fact that nourishing your body does take some level of forethought and intention. But if it feels all consuming to make it happen, that's probably an indication that you may not have a healthy relationship with food. Are you valuing your self-worth based on what or how you're eating? Is it a huge part of your identity, right? Being the quote unquote healthy one, which for me for a long time it was, right? And looking back, that's actually when I had the unhealthiest relationship with food.
Yeah.
Do you have permission to eat and enjoy all foods? Do you trust yourself with all foods? Those are all signs of what I would say is a healthy relationship with food. answer your question.
I love that. I just think it's so important to have some concrete things to be like, am I doing okay?
Yeah. No,
do I
it's such an
skew on
important
the
thing of
scale,
like, what are
you know?
you even, what I actually literally just had this conversation with a client yesterday about, well, what does it actually look like to have a healthy relationship with food? And by the way, I don't think I should be the one to exactly tell you that because it's going to be different for everybody. But I could give you some
Broad strokes.
yeah, broad strokes, but then please have the permission to define it for yourself.
And you dive into this in your group coaching program, don't you?
Yeah, these are the conversations that we have in there is like, what does it mean to have a healthy relationship with food? What's blocking you from having a healthy relationship with food? The 10 principles of intuitive eating, 5 of them are really about addressing barriers to intuitively eating and having a healthy relationship with food. And 5 of them are about giving you skills and supports to make it easier. But those 10 things are not by no means the only 10 things, right? So we have these conversations in our group coaching program. We dig into, well, what are your values around how you want to nourish your body and what is meaningful for you instead of what are people telling you to do? So yeah, absolutely. We have these conversations and you can get started with the conversation in a really, really simple way of signing up for my 5-day free Discover Intuitive Eating Challenge that's coming up. We're like just dipping our toes in to just a little bit of what understanding I'm going to help you see, do you have a healthy relationship with food? And if not, what could help it be a little bit better? What shifts, mindset shifts, things might help it be a little bit better. So you're all invited to join me. I really hope you do. I've run this for many, many years, but I haven't run it in a year and I love it. We digress.
Tell us the 4 things.
Yes. Let's get back to the 4 things. So the first thing is food tends to take up a lot of space in your brain when you are looking outside of yourself for the answers. If you're looking externally versus internally, when you trust yourself and you're tapped into your own body and you have that internal wisdom, food doesn't take up as much space, right? Because you're not trying to check boxes. You're not trying to follow rules and have this level of vigilance around your eating for someone else to tell you whether or not you're doing it right.
Makes sense.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah. I mean, essentially, like a good way of thinking about it is when you're outsourcing your food decisions, your brain never gets to rest. It's constantly surveilling, right? To see what are the rules? How have the rules changed? What do they mean for me? Am I doing it right? Am I doing it wrong? Exhausting for your brain. The second one is not trusting yourself. If you don't trust yourself, it's similar, but a little bit different. But if you don't have that internal sense of trust, and if you have been really heavily impacted by diet culture erodes self-trust because the messaging have repeatedly dieted, or if you have a history of restricting your food choices, if you have a history of starting over, if you have a history of ignoring your hunger because you're dieting or you're hacking it, if there are foods that feel like, oh gosh, I can't trust myself with those foods, I'll just eat them all.
So eroding your trust and even fighting yourself constantly is like you're fighting.
It's exhausting.
Even your intuition to just, or your,
Did you peek at my list?
No, it's just all I've learned after all this podcasting. But it makes sense. Like it's fighting even, when I get those things sometimes that I'm like, oh, I want to have that, a piece of chocolate and I enjoy it and I savor it. It's like fighting even that, the little things. So it's both things.
Yeah. So my third one was if you view your body as the enemy, right? Which you may not be using those words, but if you're thinking of your body as something that you have to control and work really hard at doing so and whip it into shape.
Control and contain. And like
I hear this a lot in fitness of like molding and sculpting, subduing your body to look the way you want it to. Like that's very common verbiage that we hear.
Yeah. If you feel like your body is working against you or you're battling your body, or I'm trying to think of the words that pop into mind that people say, but
this might be extreme, but the image that comes to my mind is when we chain ourselves. Like, how is it called? Shackles.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, if you feel shackled to your scale, right? Or you feel shackled to your calorie counting app, or you feel shackled to your food scale or your good and bad foods, what what you're allowed and not allowed to
No,
eat.
or to the couch at that party because you don't want to come close to the table where they have all the food because then that's dangerous. That's a feeling. Everybody's around the food table having a great conversation and you're not there because, a lot of things could happen.
Yeah. And I think sometimes, like we view like even hunger as like my body's betraying me, right? I'm trying so hard to cut back and contain myself and restrict
Quote
myself.
unquote,
And
be good.
yeah. And like I'm hungry and it feels like your body's working against you. That's actually your body doing its job to keep you alive. Like hunger is a biological need, right?
Like nobody cares about your body more than your body.
Well,
Right.
it's important to understand that your body doesn't feel hungry if it doesn't need it, correct? I mean, your body being hungry your body doesn't have a main intention with it.
Yeah.
It's just the invitation that, hey, we're going to need a little more fuel here to continue functioning.
Thinking about launching a podcast or taking yours to the next level? Juliana Barbati and her team are the experts you need. They take care of everything from episode funnel design to production and marketing, so you can focus on creating content that connects. Check out julianabarbati.com and mention that we sent you.
If you tend to view your body as sort of like something that's working against you instead of something that you are respecting and partner with, probably food's going to take up a lot of extra negative space in your brain.
Yeah.
If you have the experiences of not being able to trust yourself, right? Like that restrict binge pendulum, that's your body doing its job. Like it was probably in a state of semi-starvation, or psychologically you were deprived from certain foods, and there is a rebound effect of that.
That's basically like somebody not sleeping well and then your body being really sleepy. And
Really
you're like,
tired.
Stop it.
Yeah.
You can't feel sleepy right now. We're not tired, liar.
Right.
Intended body.
Yeah.
Sense
It sounds so ridiculous when we say it about sleep, and somehow with food, it's so normalized.
Right. Yeah, I know.
Or with emotions, by the way.
Yes.
When they come up and you're like, stop it. No, don't come on right now. It's not. No.
Yeah. And then I think the fourth reason I would say is if weight is your primary measure of success or motivation or way to think about whether you're eating or exercising correctly, quote unquote, then every single bite you eat is going to feel like success or failure. And that is going to take up a lot of brain space. If weight is your
an emotional space.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, when I say brain space, I do mean like mental time, energy, emotional energy, kind of all the ways. If weight is your primary way of relating to food, then you're likely going to struggle with all or nothing behaviors. Those take up a lot of brain space, right? And it can also feel like there's always something to quote unquote fix. It just puts food in this very negative place that just, I don't know another way to say it. It just takes up a lot of space.
Space, energy.
Yeah. So that's when we talk about food taking up too much brain space, that's what we mean. It is one of the most common, I think, benefits that people get from healing their relationship with food is reclaiming all of that energy and brain space for something else, right? Think about if you're out there and you're thinking, oh my gosh, yes, I do spend so much time thinking about and over-analyzing and second-guessing and documenting.
So you're going to have a lot of time to watch Netflix, listen to an episode or podcast, go out with friends and have nice
I mean, think about all the other things you can do with that time when it's not being consumed.
Dude, I heard this quote that I feel like relates to this, and it's a little bit like on the fringe, but I'm going to say it anyway. And it's something along the lines of the patriarchy wants you to be preoccupied with your body and your food so that you are like tired and weak you can't fight back
to
essentially.
Question anything.
You're not going to question. You're too busy.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. So it's not only time and space, it's like mindset, right? Imagine all the conversations that you can have differently now if you're, if a big percentage of your brain is occupied with that.
Yeah. And so a huge benefit is you reclaim that brain space. But I think that's why some of the wins that like people experience after healing their relationship with food is like, oh my gosh, like I'm doing this. I took up a new hobby, or I discovered a new passion, or I just feel so much more at peace with myself, or meal times, going to the grocery store doesn't feel like this fraught experience where I'm, only allowed to shop the perimeter, or you experience peace. So first, again, like plug, if food takes up a lot of space, please come join my free 5-day challenge. I promise I'm going to show you something different.
And again, it's free.
Yeah, and it is free. So, and then I thought it might be helpful if I know that there's people out there that are thinking a few things that I hear all of the time when we think about this, which is like, well, it sounds really great, but I wouldn't know, how would I know what to eat without all those rules and guidelines?
How will I know?
Yeah. And so people will be like, but how would I know? I don't even know how to think about what to eat without all this external rules and guidelines. And I promise you, more rules are not the answer to the peace you're searching for. I promise you, that if that was an immediate thought that had in your head, I get it. I understand where it comes from. And I cannot say it plainly enough. More rules are not the answer to the peace that you're searching for. Another thing is people like, that sounds really great, Elizabeth, but I just have never been able to do that with food. I've never been able to trust myself. I've never been able to keep ice cream in the freezer, or, I just could never do that. And the word that I would love to give you is yet. You've not yet been able to trust yourself with food, but likely you've only ever approached it as something to control, to restrict, to avoid. And that makes sense why you don't trust yourself, right? Because again, that restrict binge pendulum. So yet, you don't know how to trust yourself yet, but you can. I've worked with hundreds and hundreds of people who have said the very same thing, and they definitely get to a place of trust. And I guess the third one that I would say is sometimes people will say, well, yeah, I mean, maybe that would work for other people, that it could never work for me because like my body doesn't work that way.
And not that special. Your body works this way. You just have to give it a chance.
Yeah. I mean, it just shows like you're very much in that headspace of viewing your body as something to battle. And if we can flip that narrative, if you can come alongside your body, you and your body can both get there.
It seems so intuitive to feel like, of course, your body doesn't want to fight you.
Mm-hmm.
Your body's trying to keep you healthy. It's trying to keep you alive. At its most basic level, it's trying to keep you alive and healthy enough so that you can procreate and make sure your offspring doesn't die, and then maybe you'll be okay. But we don't need to conquer it. It's not something to fight against.
Yeah. So that's what it means for food to take up that much space. That's what it can look like. That's what it can look like when it doesn't take up that much space. Those are some of the things that may be causing food to take up so much space. And those are some of the common, I guess, limiting beliefs that I see around what people like. They want it, but they're afraid that it couldn't happen for them. And I get it. And I still think it can happen for you with the right support and the right guidance and a willingness to work on healing your relationship with food, and a belief that you deserve that. You deserve a healthy relationship with food and you deserve food peace and body peace.
And peace in general.
Yeah.
Peace on earth.
That's all I got, ladies. That and a free 5-day challenge. Discover intuitive eating. Come join me.
And if you like this episode, don't forget to share it. Follow us on Instagram, Wellness Rebranded.
All the links in the show notes.